Yes, Sashrikal students. So today we are going to have a video on regarding most of the things of solutions, class 9. Uh, what is a solution? Solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Now, here, what are the substances? See, example is lemonade. In lemon and water makes a lemonade. So these are the substances: lemon, water, maybe salt, lemon, water, sugar. These are the substances, right? These substances can be elements or they can be compounds. So you should never say that solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more compounds or elements. You can always say substances. When I say substances, it means elements or you know in fact, substances can mean anything, even liquids, gases, compounds, anything, substances. Okay, so let's go further. Lemonade, soda water, etc. All examples of solutions. Okay, what are the types of solutions based upon state? Now we know what is a state. We have liquid state, plasma state, uh, blah blah. So we have two types of solutions based upon state. We have solid solutions. We call them alloys, and gaseous solutions. It's like air. Okay. There's no particular name for gaseous solution. Uh, in a solution, there is a homogeneity at the particle level. What is the meaning of this? For example, lemonade tastes the same throughout. You know, uh, you will not have different taste of lemonade in different parts unless it is not dissolved properly. This shows that the particles of sugar or salt are evenly distributed in a solution. So, when I say every solution has homogeneity at the particle level, the meaning is uniform distribution, that the sugar or salt are evenly distributed in the solution. In other words, you can say the solute is sugar or salt. They are equally distributed in the solvent, that is water in this case. Another important things, sugar of solution of sugar and water in a solid in liquid solution of sugar in water is a solid in liquid solution. Interesting. In this solution, sugar is a solute and water is a solvent. We all know that. Okay. Sugar of iodine in alcohol, known as, a tincture of iodine, has iodine as a solute and alcohol, liquid, as a solvent. Students, this is interesting thing about iodine. We know it's an exception. Iodine is solid at the room temperature. Unlike all the metals, they are, you know, uh, the metals are strong. They are, lustrous. They are sonorous. But then the iodine is, yes, we say it's solid at the room temperature, but then iodine normally look like as it has luster. Okay. Now, aerated drinks like soda water, etc., are gas in the liquid solution. So, can anyone tell which is the gas in the liquid solutions? Like I'm talking about all the carbonated drinks. It is carbon dioxide. You know, and this is a gas. Basically which produces those bubbles. Which gives you idea that it's good for digestion. You know, a solute and water in the solvent. Air is a mixture of gas in gas. Air is a homogeneous mixture of number of gases. Its two major constituents are oxygen and nitrogen. The other gases are present in smaller quantities. You know that, like H2S or CO or other gases, even carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gas. So there are also other gases present in the uh, small quantities. Okay. What are the properties of solution, students? So number one, solution is a homogeneous mixture, right? Then particles of solutions are smaller than 1 nanometer. Nano is 10 raised to power minus 9 in diameter. So they cannot be seen with naked eyes. Oh, they're so small size, they cannot be seen with the naked eyes. Now, when I say particles of solution, both means solute as well as solvent. They cannot be seen. And regarding the first property of solution, it's a homogeneous mixture. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is uh, it's simply meaning that there's a uniform distribution of solute in the solvent, or you can say there's a uniform distribution of solute in the solution. Okay, so this is a solution. Now, because of a very small particle size, they do not scatter a beam of light passing through the solution. So the path of light is not visible in the solution. So this is an important thing, students. You see that the path of light is not visible in a solution. Okay, so that means you take a glass of water, you know, okay, this is clean water, right? This is not polluted water. So when this clean water, you will not be able to see the path of light, uh, you know, passing through, transmitting through the water. So basically, here the point is the size of particles is small, smaller than 10 raised to power minus 9 meters. What if this water has some pollution, like maybe some mud particles in this, or some other, carbon particles in this, the water, it's dirty water. And then because of the scattering of the light by those particles, you see, students, uh, the scattering is always there whenever there's an object to resist the path of the light. Otherwise, there will be no scattering. So it's very important aspect of this solution that because of small particle size, they don't scatter a beam of light passing through them. All right. The solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. Very important. you know it's like, uh, we have a filter and we want to separate sugar and water solution. You cannot do that by chemical methods. You can do that, not by physical methods. Filtration is a physical method. Okay. Now, the solute particles do not settle down when left undisturbed. That is, a solution is stable. Okay. Now, the example of this can be again lemonade, or maybe we have mixed soda in water. So we say mixed, but actually the soda water has been dissolved in the water. It's a perfect solution. So you cannot, if you left undisturbed, a glass of soda water and water, you will not be able to see the soda water, components, getting settled down at the bottom of the solution. You'll never see that. But if you see some unclean sugar cane used in the process of making sugar cane juice, uh, and if you try to drink that juice, before drinking, if you even keep the glass, maybe the sugar, that dirty, uh, polluted sugarcane juice in a glass, in a glass, in a glass, you will see that some, you know, dirt particles, they are having kind of Brownian motion in that solution. And after some time, they will settle down at the bottom. So, that is the point which is being elaborated here. Okay. And also, students, you see, when we say about sand and uh, let's say sand and salt, okay, we mix them. All right, we are able to see them. We are able to see sand and salt particles. you know they are not very small, so it's not a solution, right? Also, it can be, the salt and sand can easily be, separated by using a sieve of very small size, little bigger than salt particles. So salt will be coming down and sand will be above, so that by filtration we can remove the sand and salt, or sand and other some ingredient. So that's not a solution. Okay, these are the properties of solutions. Okay, what are the types of solution based upon concentration? Now this is the topic. This is a part where students make a lot of mistakes. So hope you will not be doing. What are the types of solution based on concentration? Okay. Saturated solutions. Number one, solution in which no more amount of solute can be added at a given temperature is known as saturated solution. See students, here there's a very good physics. So let's say you have one glass of water, right? And one glass of water is there, and what you do, you simply, you know, try to add some water in that at room temperature. You will be able to add a lot of water, honestly. Maybe 4 5 spoons, in a glass of water. Let's say you have a steel glass, you'll be able to add. But if you try to add more water, it will say no, you'll not be able to add. Why? So the answer was really given good by Mehta, that this water, when we are adding sugar in this, so water is a liquid. Agree that liquids, small particles, they are having some space between them. So that space is occupied by sugar particles. This is correct. Okay, this is good. This is a good explanation. Okay, now what's happening, students? When we heat it, let's say 5 spoons of sugar have been added in this glass of water, tumbler of water. But when we heat it, one more spoon or two more spoons we are able to add. What does that mean? The answer is, when the temperature is increased, so what is happening? The interatomic distance of the particle is increasing. The forces, bonding forces between particles is becoming less. That is the reason the gaseous particles have, larger volume, occupying capabilities as compared to solids and liquids. So, because the distance between particles have increased, so this advantage is taken by the sugar particles. Though more sugar particles can come inside. So this is the reason, when temperature is increased, the more solute can be dissolved in a given solution. So solubility of the solution, that's why, is always defined at a fixed temperature. Whenever we say what is the solubility of a solution, you never answer that solubility of solution is uh, like, let's say, 40%, 30%. We will always say at a given temperature. This is the solubility at a given temperature. Okay. So let's go further. Now, what is solubility? Solubility is simply amount of solute present in the saturated solution. Now, what is saturated solution? Saturated solution, as we have just discussed, at a given temperature, is very important. At a given temperature, let's say you are able to add 5 grams of sugar in, let's say, 100 ml of water. So this amount of solute is the solubility. Amount of solute present in the saturated solution at given temperature is solubility, and saturated solution is a solution where maximum amount of solute has already been added. Now the solution is saturated. Like normally we say, I'm saturated, with your ideas. Indirectly, the friend wants to say, don't speak more. I don't want to take more ideas from you. So the solution doesn't want to take more sugar. So the solution says, I'm saturated. At the saturation level, more solute cannot be added. All right. So this is important. Now, solubility, the amount of solute present in the saturated solution at a given temperature is solubility. Okay. So I wanted to write the equation here. So when you talk about what is the formula to calculate solubility? Here, students, it will be, uh, it's not written, I'm sorry. The amount of solute divided by amount of, yes, Sargun, what is the definition for solubility? The equation? Anyone, any student? Solubility is amount of solute divided by amount of
Mass of solvent.
solvent. Very important. Remember, it's not amount of solute divided by amount of solution into 100. This is a percentage solubility. Fine. Okay, then comes unsaturated solution. See students, again, we are able to add, let's say, 5 spoons of sugar in let's say 100 ml of water or 1 liter of water. Okay. So now the quantity of solute, any quantity of solute less than 5 spoons makes unsaturated solution. What does that mean? Suppose you have taken 1 glass of water. It has a capability to add 5 spoons of sugar at a particular temperature. You have added 1 spoon or 2 or 3 or only 4 spoons. Now all those are unsaturated solutions. Am I right? Okay. So, if the amount of solute contained in a solution is less than the saturation level, it is known as unsaturated solution. That's it. This is the types of solution based upon concentration. We have already discussed type of solution based upon state, gaseous solution, liquid solution. Okay. All right. And then 3 methods to express the concentration of solution. Very, very important for numericals part. Number 1, mass by mass percentage of solution. So let's see. Mass by mass percentage of solution, when we want to use, we will write mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100, right? Here, we can give an example or we will take examples later. Okay. Number 2, method to express concentration of solution, mass by volume percentage of solution. Here we will take mass of solute divided by volume of solute into, sorry, it's not 10, it's 100. Okay, it's 100 here. Add one more zero. Okay. Then we have volume by volume percentage of solution. Now, volume of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. This third method is rarely used. Normally, we use first two methods, but we should know all the methods, right? Okay. So this is done. And now comes the part that we want to do numericals. Okay. So let's do this numerical. We have so many numericals. Okay. Solution contains 40 gram of common salt in 320 gram of water. Okay. Calculate concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of solution. See students, it's very important that here when 320 gram of water is given, don't misunderstand this as 320 gram of solution. It's only solvent. 320 grams of water is just solvent. You have to add 320 gram of water with 40 grams of solute to get 360 gram of solution, and then the concentration can be find out. All right. Yes students. Now how do we do it? So the would be concentration would be 40 gram mass of solute, that is 40 grams of common salt, divided by any student mass of
Water.
Solution.
mass of
Solution.
solution. Then mass will be wrong. So that will be 40 grams of uh, common salt,
Solute.
300 and yes, solute. You're right. 320 plus 40 grams. So so many things important here into 100, right? So that will be the answer. So what is the answer? Please tell me. So 40 divided by 360 into 100, right? This is the right. So this is 4 ones are 4, 4 nines are this thing. So it's 100 by 9 percentage. You can calculate the percentage, no problem. 100 by 9%. Okay. So yesterday, some students I asked to calculate this concentration. So what they did, they calculated the concentration. One student has 100 by 9 gram. This is wrong. This does not agree with the principle of dimensional homogeneity. Here gram is cancelling with the gram. So the concentration does not have units. You can express concentration in percentage. Already you have multiplied by 100. So this must be in percentage. Don't do these two mistakes. Okay. Yes, students. How will you do this sum? Well, it says 4 gram of solute is dissolved in 40 gram of water to form a saturated solution at 25 degrees centigrade. Calculate the solubility of the solute at the given temperature. Yes. So remember, when we know we want to calculate solubility, it is mass of solute in saturated solution, right? So it is mass of solute. This can be put in the bracket also, divided by mass of solvent. This is not solute. This is mass of solvent. Right, students? Solubility is never calculated as mass of solute divided by mass of solution. Remember that. So what will solubility here, students? When we say that 4 gram of solute is dissolved in 40 grams of water to form a saturated solution. So this is saturated. The solution is saturated. That means no more gram of, even milligram of solute can be added. So what is the maximum mass of solute? Maximum mass of solute which already has been added is 4 gram divided by any student. What is the mass of solvent? What is the solvent here, students?
44 grams.
No, you are wrong here again. The solvent is only 40 grams of
50 gram.
44 will be the mass of any student. 44 will be the mass of solution. 40 grams of solvent plus 4 gram of solute together will give us 44 grams of solution. Very simple. Solute plus solvent will give you solution. It is such a simple equation. Okay, but as you have done mistakes, Sargunkar, most of the students do this mistake here. Don't do that. So solubility is mass of solute 4 grams divided by mass of solvent, and solvent is 40 grams of water. See, it's not written 40 grams of, 40 grams of water solution. If it had written 40 grams of water solution, that means this 4 gram is already added in this, not right now. So it is 4 grams by 40 grams into 100. So what is the solubility, students? So it's 10, it is only 10%. Remember that. Student, we have another sum. So it's like the solution contains 40 grams of common salt in 450 grams of water. Again, students, same. This is 450 gram of water. When it is there 450 gram of water, it is 450 gram is, yes, tell me, is it water? Is it solution? 450 gram or 450 gram of solvent? Any student?
It is mass of solvent, not the mass of solution.
Perfectly right. Now you have hit the nail. Good. This is 450 gram of what? Because solution word is missing here. So concentration of solution will be mass of solute divided by mass of solution. Unlike solubility, in the solubility, the denominator is mass of solute. So when we went to calculate concentration of water, fine. So now mass of solute is how much? 50 grams divided by mass of solution is 50 grams plus,
500 grams.
okay, ma'am, you're very good in calculation. We know that 50 divided by 500 into 100. Sorry, I forgot to write 100 here. So it will be again 10%. So we will say, okay, students, one more thing. Some students were asking me yesterday doubt. So shall we say concentration of solution or concentration of solute? Both means same. Concentration of solute also, you can say in the given solution at a given temperature is 10%. Yes, students, with this, we say goodbye. We'll come back to you with more videos. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and try to share with your friends. We get more coverage, you get more knowledge, and we are always able to hear about our mistakes and constructive criticism from you. I wish you all the best. Students, you stay tuned.